Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So in today's video we're going to be making a quick card using some WOW Fab Foils with our stamps. I've got this gorgeous stamp set from WOW called Beautiful, inspired by, or designed by rather, Marion Embossing, and it's got this gorgeous floral spread and some lovely little sentiments. So yeah, we're going to have a little play around with this today. I've got some Teal Fab Foil that we're going to be using, and I'm going to be using it with WOW's bonding powder, and for this you'll need your anti-static powder bag and also your embossing pad. So I've got a panel of turquoise cardstock cut down to size already, and I'm just going to work out where I want that to be stamped on my card panel. I wasn't sure whether to just use a corner of it or whether to have it in the bottom corner. But first of all, I'm going to just make sure that there's no grease marks or finger marks on the paper at all. You don't want the bonding powder sticking to anywhere other than the stamped image. So I've inked up my stamp with the WOW embossing ink pad, and I'm just stamping that down just slightly up on the left hand side. And then I'm just going to bring in a piece of white paper just so that I can tip the bonding powder over the stamped image. You pour it on exactly the same way as you would do with your embossing powders. It looks like clear or white embossing powder, but it's super fine. And then I'm just going to set that to one side before we heat set it, because you want to cut your foil to size before. You kind of want to have everything prepared because this is quite a quick process. So I've cut my foil down to size. I'm also going to bring in my die cutting machine. I've got my chrome base plate in at present, but you don't need that. You just need your normal cutting pads. And then I'm just going to heat set the embossing, or the bonding powder rather, from underneath. I've got my heat tool on the hottest setting, and then I'm just making sure that it's all melted. Now I'm heat setting it from underneath, and then once it's melted I can quickly go over the top, because you don't want the powder going anywhere other than the stamped image. And then while that's nice and hot, I'm adding my foil straight over the top and running it through my die cutting machine so that there's lots of pressure, and that way you get the best results from the bonding powder. This is what I've found to really work well when using it, and I think it gives a beautiful foiled effect. And of course you can use this with any of your stamps, so it's a great way of extending your stash. If you've missed anywhere, just gently heat it back up and then quickly add the foil over. Use your finger to add some pressure, and then you'll find that the foil adheres nicely, and so yeah, you get that beautiful foiled image. So I've got a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card blank. This is a top folding card blank, and I'm just pulling out a few of the sentiments from the stamp set. So I've picked off the one that says thank you for everything, and I'm just playing around with the placement, just working out if I want my sentiment at the top or bottom. I do decide to put it at the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in some WOW embossing ink and use some white superfine embossing powder. When I'm stamping sentiments, I really like to use the superfine embossing powder, just so that it captures all the detail, especially if the sentiment's particularly small. However, you can use the regular embossing powder. It is very, very fine, but I just find that I get the most detail when using the superfine embossing powder. So it's nice to have that option with WOW. So once I've covered my panel in the embossing powder, we can just go ahead and quickly heat set it. And heat setting it from underneath again, just so that I don't blow the powder anywhere. And then I'm going to add some strips of cardstock to the back, because I'm still out of foam tape. So this is just strips of cardstock that I've stuck together. There's about 3 layers each strip, and that just creates a little bit of dimension. And yeah, it's like homemade foam tape without the foam. And yeah, it's a great way of using it with scraps. So I've made sure that that's stuck down nice and even, and I'm going to add a few of these card Bling from A Colourful Life Designs. These are like flat back sequins without the hole in the middle, and I'm just using my wax pencil to move them around. I just find it a little bit easier, and then some quick grab glue. I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer at the minute. But I kind of thought at this point the card was finished, but it's just a bit too simple for my liking. I kind of felt like it was missing something. I wasn't really sure whether I should add some more to it, whether I'm going to ruin it. So yeah, I go ahead and decide to add some white shading with the gel pen. And to be honest, looking back at this video, I'm wondering now if this was really unnecessary and I should have just left the card where it was. But yeah, you can let me know in the comments below whether you prefer it as it was or whether you like all the extra details that we're going to go on to add. So I'm just using a white Jelly Roll gel pen here, and I'm just adding a little bit of white shading to the bottom of the petals of the flowers. I had a few little white dots around the outside as well, and then I kind of felt like, I don't know whether we should add a bit more to the leaves, so I go ahead and do that. And now I'm starting to think, am I just ruining it? When I've finished with this, I still feel that it's missing something. So I go ahead and add some white splatters. I've got some spray acrylic paint from Pearlywinks, and yeah, I go ahead and add some white splatters to the card. To do this, I like to remove the spray cap and then just use a paintbrush. I find that's just the easiest way to add some splatters with this acrylic paint. And so yeah, that is the finished card for today. So let me know in the comments below whether you think you'd have preferred it without all the extra details, or whether you think the details add to the card. As always, all the products that I've used will be linked in the description box below. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.